The part that's either always missing or is never emphasized the way it should be is the part where you need to internalize. Internalization is always left out of this kind of advice. By internalization, what I mean is allowing yourself to feel those bad, negative, uncomfortable emotions as deeply and thoroughly and comprehensively as you possibly can. And you do that by accepting responsibility for the mistakes that you made out on the court, the things that you could have done better. The opposite of this would be externalization. So blaming everybody else around you. It wasn't your fault, it's everybody else's fault. They did whatever wrong, it wasn't your fault, it's their fault. That's externalizing. You don't want to do that. You want to internalize and feel all of that bad negative emotion as much as you possibly can. The reason you do this is not to beat yourself up, right? Not to make yourself feel bad or, start yourself down like a spiral of, negative emotions that lead to some kind of depression or anything like that. The reason you internalize those feelings is so that the better you feel them, like the better you understand them, right? The more you can genuinely resolve to genuinely get better, do better next time. There is no better motivation or inspiration than your own true emotions, right? That either say, okay, I felt this great positive emotion and I want to feel that again. I want to feel it as often as I possibly can, so I will put in whatever work it takes in order for that to happen. Or I felt this terrible negative emotion, right? I never want to feel this again, so I will do whatever work it takes in order to avoid that as well. You're never going to find any better inspiration or motivation than that ever. It just does not exist. So the more you internalize, the more you can genuinely, for real, resolve to get better. Because players will often say, oh yeah, it was my mistake, my bad. I know I did X, Y, and Z wrong, right? I'll get better. I'll do better next time. Like, they'll say that because it sounds good to say that, right? It makes them sound noble when they say it. The question is, do they actually mean it, right? And if they internalize those feelings, right, then yes, they actually meant it, which means they will actually get better. But if they're just saying it because it sounds good, then no, they didn't internalize it. No, they're not going to get better. So internalization, right, is going to allow you to go through that process properly, which is going to allow you to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's what you need to do. Like, what happens when that chaos happens is, it's not like you need more control and you can squash that chaos and make yourself a better player, right? When that chaos happens, you fall off as a basketball player. Perfectly normal. Happens to a lot of players, right? It makes sense. Chaos happens, you can't control it, you fall off as a basketball player, right? You don't need more control. What you need to do is get used to the uncomfortability that chaos creates, so that when chaos happens, you don't get uncomfortable, you stay exactly where you can stay locked in as a player and ride that chaos out and then deal with it until it gets better. And the more experience that you establish and have as a player, the more you'll be able to, actually, assert yourself properly to deal with that chaos properly, so that not necessarily that you control it, but you can deal with it in a way where it feels like you have control over, uncontrollable chaos. From a more practical and applicable basketball standpoint, if you're saying you want control on the basketball court, and let's say it doesn't come from any kind of insecurity, like in the previous example,